You're good to go.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for volunteering for National Voter Registration Day. This is certainly one of the biggest geographic um, volunteer efforts that we put together, and we've been doing it for the last 3 years now, covering all of the libraries in Fairfax County. And we 100% would not be able to do this without you all volunteering. So thank you. Thank you for doing that, and thank you for taking the time to go and engage with our community through the libraries. I just wanted to provide some introductory information, and then I'm going to turn this over to Arena Van Breda, who is going to go over the contents of the bags that you all have either already picked up or will be picking up. So first of all, just to remind you of the time that the event starts. So if you all are able to arrive at the library at 1:30 and start setting up and getting ready to go, we would appreciate that. I know that originally the time was 1:45. So if you 1:45 is the earliest you can get there, that's fine. If you can get there at 1:30, we'd appreciate it. And then your shift ends then at 3:15. When you arrive at the library, please go to the information desk and check in with the librarian on duty. You can either ask for the librarian on duty or just speak to whatever librarian is there at the desk and tell them you're with the League of Women Voters and you're there to set up. All of the libraries should be expecting you. They should have a table ready for you with 2 chairs, and you should be inside the facility, either in the atrium or of the building or right inside the door. Some of them don't necessarily have atriums. It's just sort of a very quick transition, but you should be inside. And like I said, there should be a table and 2 chairs provided for you. Excuse me. The library also asks that we be respectful of the patrons who are there. So this covers a couple of things. So one, they have asked that when we approach people, we use our indoor library voices. So not our outside, local community event voices where we're, really have to shout out to people so that they can hear us, but keep it toned down as like you're in a library, more quiet. And they also asked that we not approach patrons who are not interested. So what you want to do is kind of try to hook them early as they walk in and keep it short, so you won't have a lot of time. So maybe just saying, would you like nonpartisan, what's on the ballot? And then if they come over and take that flyer, you can always ask them then if they're registered to vote or if they would like to register to vote that day. But keep it short and concise and quiet. I am going to be available all day. So if you all need me, you have my phone number. So please feel free to text me. I'll be at John Marshall Library volunteering, but I will have my phone with me. And like I said, available all day. So please feel free to reach out to me if you need me. I think that that is all that I have. Arena, are you all ready to kind of take over, or did I forget anything?
No, but we can if we think of things afterwards or people have questions, we'll have time for questions at the end. We're going to try to be, as Amy said. First of all, because I don't know if everyone knows Amy. I mean, I know Amy because she's like one of my right hands. The other right hand is Emma Bett, who is recording this. So I just want to say, this is Amy's third year of running this event for us. And as she said, it is one of the largest events geographically, certainly, that we do, because we are going to be in all 21 of Fairfax County public branch libraries. So the league, I personally, and the league in general, owes a big debt of gratitude to Amy for having done this year after year after year. So thank you, Amy. Yes, exactly.
Thanks.
And then I can't believe I recognize every name pretty much on this screen. Some are very old friends, some are newer friends, but I'm Marina Van Breda, and I'm the director for voter registration for the League of Women Voters of the Fairfax area. Most of you know me, and I already mentioned Emma Bett, but we also cannot thank Emma Bett enough for everything she does for this organization. She is our one employee part-time, she says, but actually we all know she works like more than full-time for us, and we are all tremendously energetic. So several of you, a number of you have done this before. This is going to be a quickie review, but we thought we should make available kind of all the basic information that for the new people, the new volunteers that we have, we wanted to be as comprehensive as we could. And I'm going to say from the start, every single person working at this event or any of our voter registration events should have already done the Department of Elections voter registration training that's available online. Okay, because yeah, that's a sine qua non. We don't go any further without that, because it provides you and us the protection of knowing that you have been certified, you've been deemed certified by the state to do this work. And given the heightened scrutiny that there is related to all things electoral these days, I don't think that it's a bad idea for everyone to feel tremendously confident and to be able to say, I have been certified by the state of Virginia. We also have additional, if you want more detailed training, that's on our website. There's a YouTube video for some more detailed league-specific training that I did. If anybody feels they want even more after tonight, if you're gluttons for punishment, then you can go to the website. On the volunteer page, you will find voter registration training, and you can find that YouTube video. Actually, I feel like half the people in this Zoom room could probably teach that course by now, but it's there for those who feel they need a little bit more. So I am going to switch over to share screen, and with any luck at all, this is going to work. And we are going to do view slideshow. My computer is quite old. My laptop, it gets a heck of a lot of abuse. And all I'm doing right now is just praying, please last through this election. I can deal with a new computer after the election. I can't deal with one before. So this is our National Voter Registration Day specific training for the event we're doing on September 17th, so a week from tomorrow night, a week from tomorrow, we'll be doing this. I just wanted to point out that one of the reasons I'm so incredibly grateful that Amy can woman leadership this entire event at the libraries. It's our big push for National Voter Registration Day, but we're also going to be running multiple sites at the GMU campus on the same day, and I'm going to be occupied over there, which is why Amy is your first line of resort for any questions that come up during the day. A National Voter Registration Day, for those of you who are not aware, is a national campaign with a consortium of nonpartisan organizations participating. The League of Women Voters US is one of the main leaders in it. There are other organizations as well. And it is a great way to have kind of some national attention to the importance of registering to vote and to kind of get people starting to think about the election and the issues surrounding the election. There are some pictures on your first slide that you see here from prior National Voter Registration Days events, including Gail Richmond's on this call, and she's in this little picture right under our banner with two young ladies that we registered at one of the events we did. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before. So this is always a lot of fun and a great opportunity to register voters. But I want to say right off the bat that registering voters, that's the name of the event. That's kind of the primary purpose of the event, but do not be confused. This is not the only purpose of the event. Many people, we have a highly educated, a highly motivated population in Fairfax County. And let's face it, people who are showing up at the libraries are already pretty smart. They're readers, obviously. So a lot of them are going to be registered. So don't be dismayed if you don't register any new voters. I mean, it's great if we do, and we want to help everybody. But a large part of the exercise is voter education. We want to make sure people have the information that they need to be able to be informed voters, prepared voters, and I'm going to go through some of the materials that we are going to give them to make them prepared and motivated. So we want you to kind of track as you're going through the day, make a little checklist on one of your pieces of paper that you're going to have on your tabletop, and just keep track of the number of people you talk to, because we would love to have that information afterwards. How many people did you talk to? We will definitely count the number of people that you registered, but that's not the only number in this game. It's how many people did you talk to? How many people did you remind there's an important election, in case they were living in a cave or under a rock and didn't know there was an important election this year? But we want to engage voters, educate them, make our materials available. Another secondary but not insignificant purpose of this event is we want to promote the league as a source of reputable, nonpartisan information to the community. And the more people that hear about what the League of Women Voters is doing, the more people who see the materials that we make available on our shoestring budget, hopefully the more people will want to support our work and not coincidentally maybe join the league and help us in the work that we have to do. So all of you should have gotten several emails from Amy already telling you about the bag of materials that is available for you in the office. I'm sitting in the office right now. I love maps, but my house does not have maps of this type in it. I'm sitting in our offices, and there are about 10 bags that need to be picked up still. And I'm going to go through the contents of the bag. One of the two partners at every library should make sure that you have the bag, have it available, and I'm going to go through what's in it. First of all, in there is going to be a tablecloth, a very nice, cheapy, okay, not so nice. It's just a cheap tablecloth. But it's just so you can put your materials out. Again, the libraries are going to make tables and chairs available to you. So you're going to have the tablecloth. You're going to have a big laminated sign. This is quite sizable. And there is going to be a little holder for it. We're not sure the holders are going to work really well. You may have to tape it down or something, or tape it to the tablecloth, or tape it to the wall behind you. You can ask the librarians for the tape if you need it, but it's a laminated sign. And it says all the important information, who we are. We're the League of Women Voters. What are we doing? We are registering people to vote. And not coincidentally, and not unimportantly, there is a QR code on that laminated sign that will allow people who say, I don't have time right now, or I can't talk right now, to, with their cell phone, all they have to do is point the cell phone at the QR code. It will take them directly to the Department of Elections citizen portal, where they can register to vote. They can update their voter information. Remember, anybody who has moved since the last general election should update their information to their new address. If they're already registered, it's quite easy to do that online. They can do that through the QR code. So again, put that sign up, make sure people see it. It will make very apparent who you are and what you're doing. Okay, so also inside the bag is a whole bunch of printed materials. We are going to have voter registration forms for you, and we're going to go through that. But we also have this large green "What's on your ballot?" And this is one of our most popular pieces of information. You're going to have 100 in each of your bags. Would that you can give them all away. It's unlikely on a weekday afternoon that there are going to be that many people walking through our libraries, but I will tell you what to do with them afterwards. Actually, let me tell you now, and then I'm going to tell you again, because if you hear it twice, you'll be more likely to remember. Try to offer these to absolutely everyone that goes by. Nonpartisan election information. It has everything. Deadlines, locations of early voting sites, hours of the early voting sites, all of the candidates. Did I mention all of the candidates? Did you know that there are 6 people running for president in the state of Virginia? I'll bet you didn't know that. We didn't actually know that either until after we printed this thing. So there is a small revision that's being made to these, and I will go over that in a moment. So that's our most important piece of information. Please offer that to everyone. While it's nice to sit, and we are going to use our very soft inside library voices, I also find it's also very welcoming. Instead of sitting behind a desk and waiting for people to go up to you, is stand up and hold it up. You don't have to yell at them, but as they're going by, just say, hold up what you got to hold up. And would you like one of these? And try to give out as many as you can. We also have this green use your power vote flyer that's in English and in Spanish. All of our materials now will always have the QR code so people can do online voter registration. We will also have Fairfax Facts. That's that smaller book-like little booklet, really handy. Older voters, anybody who's lived in Fairfax County for a while has seen these before. They love them. They will want them. Just offer them again to as many people as you can. The game is to try to get rid of as much of this as you can during the course of the time you're there. The green flyer, what's on your ballot, the big one, not the little one, the big one, and the Fairfax Facts, the small booklet, we are going to leave with the librarians when you're done with your shift. Also in your bag are going to be buttons and stickers. We want everyone to be identified as working with the League of Women Voters. I know there are some non-members who are participating, and we welcome your participation, but this is officially a League of Women Voters voter registration event, so you have to identify as a member or affiliated with the League of Women Voters. The big buttons we ask you to return unless you're willing to promise to come back to another voter registration event, in which case you can keep them and then wear them to your next event. But they do cost us money. We don't have a lot of money. We end up reusing a lot of our stuff. So otherwise, just put them back. For those people who don't like putting holes in their nice silk shirts, my shirts are always covered with buttons. As you can see, I got buttons on everything, like a walking billboard for the election. But for those of you who wear nice silk shirts, you may want to use our little sticky adhesive label instead. No matter what, we want you to wear something that identifies you as a member of the League of Women Voters. Now, one nice way to recruit people to come over and talk to you is bribery. And we have put in your bags coloring sheets and crayons. So if you see somebody walking in with a little kid, just motion them over and ask if they would like a coloring sheet and some crayons. Kids love them. As you can see, this young man has beautifully colored in his coloring sheet. And here are a couple of our volunteers from a prior year. And what they did is they had kids coloring them, and then they taped them up to their table as a way of just kind of getting a little bit more interaction. And you can see also on that picture and how nicely they've got their table laid out. So we're hoping for something like that. We don't have flags to put in everybody's bag. If you have decorations like that at home and you'd like to bring them, that's fine. Again, basically principle, anything you bring has to be strictly nonpartisan. Do not bring anything that could be remotely interpreted as a partisan thing, because trust me, we're going to get called out for it and we're going to lose our credibility. And it is one of the things we ask you to promise as a volunteer in our events, that you do not show any partisan favorship. Okay, so this is a little bit of housekeeping. While you are setting up, most of your bags will have the corrected what's on the ballot flyer. And you can see there's this white sticker and it's taped over or pasted over what used to be there, which were the two main party candidates, because that's what we thought we had when we went to print with our flyer this year. So it turns out there are actually 4 additional parties that did qualify for the ballot. And so we provided this sticker that will go directly over that. If you have one of the bags where your flyers aren't stickered already, Amy is going to make sure you have the stickers. We'll get them to you by hook or by crook. It would be great if you have already picked up your bag and you haven't gotten the stickers from Amy yet. If you could come to our open house this Sunday to get out the vote rally that we're doing. And we can give you stickers then, but otherwise we will get them to you. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping that has to go on if you happen to be one of those folks who were quick about picking up your bag. Okay, so we're going to talk very briefly about the voter registration form. Many of you are veterans of this work, and I know you could be teaching this, but because we have some new people, I'm still going to go over the basics, the important things. This is the normal voter registration form. As you can see, it's a blank white page with a lot of writing on it. We're going to make life easy for you. We have highlighted all the areas that must be filled out. The state does indicate the important areas with an asterisk, but we kind of make sure that people can't miss it by highlighting. And then there are a couple of areas that we highlight that the state has not identified as important, but we think are important. So you have to make sure that they have checked the box, yes, they are a citizen. If they are not a citizen, they cannot register to vote, because you've all done the training and you know the three criteria, or four criteria, to register in the state of Virginia. You have to be a US citizen. You have to be a resident of the state of Virginia. To register to vote in this year's general election, you have to be 18 on or before November 5th of this year. 17-year-olds may register ahead of time, as long as they're going to turn 18 by November 5th. There is a thing called pre-registration. We're going to not talk about that right now because it's unlikely you're going to have 16 or 17-year-olds walking in the library in the middle of a Thursday afternoon. So let's just skip that. They must provide their full Social Security number, okay? It has to be the full Social Security number, not just the last four digits. Date of birth has to be filled out as asked, month, date, for digit year. Gender is asterisk as though it were mandatory. It is actually not. Black letter law in Virginia makes gender not optional. We are required to highlight it. People can put down anything they want. They can put down, male, female. They can put down B for binary. They can do whatever. I tell people you can put U for unicorn. I don't really care. You can leave it blank. So if just don't even mention it. If they don't fill it out, just don't fret about it. Last name, full legal last name, and junior or senior, second, third, if it applies. If it's a Latino, someone of Latino heritage, they often have two-part last names. Whatever they use as their legal name is what they are to put. First name should be the full legal first name, not Peggy if it's Margaret, not Jim if it's James, their full legal name. This usually is only a problem with really young people, first-time voters. Middle name has got to be filled out. Either they fill in their middle name or they check the box none. Do not leave that blank. So ask them. If they hand it to you, you're going to check the form. You're going to find out if they have a middle name. If they didn't fill it in, ask them. No middle name. They go, no. Then they got to check the box none. Residence has to be where they live, where they sleep at night, not a post office box. And they should be filled out completely. Please have them include a town and a zip code. Here's the part we highlight that the state does not consider mandatory. However, the registrars find it so helpful that we have decided to include this as something strongly suggested. Either or is fine, both are even better, an email and a phone number. Okay, this is really important. Question through cannot be missed. If this gets missed, if people don't answer this question, their application will be rejected. They will get something in the mail saying your application has been rejected, and then they have to start all over again. And it's, have you ever been convicted of a felony or judged mentally incapacitated and disqualified to vote? Now, obviously, the great majority are going to be no, but if someone says, I'm not sure, or I had a prior felony conviction, please ask them to check with their lawyer prior to applying. There is an easy way to find out if someone's rights have been restored by going to restore.virginia.gov. But if this comes up, and it's unlikely, but just in case, you don't want to encourage someone to register to vote who might have been disqualified due to prior felony conviction, because then they might be subject to additional criminal penalties. And given the current state of election misinformation and hysteria in Virginia, we don't want to put anyone at risk of further legal trouble. Section 4, largely not going to apply to most people that you're going to have there. You may have a military person, in which case they can provide a different mailing address than their residence address. Or if they're under a court-issued protective order, if they use a post office box to get their mail instead of having it delivered to their house. So they check the appropriate box and then they fill in their mailing address below. Again, great majority of people, it's not going to be required. This is a little bit outdated because just this year they've added an additional protected category, and that is people who are election workers or poll officers, which is really sad, but it's true. People are now feeling so threatened by doing work at the polls that they're now considered a protected category. Okay. If they are moving in from a different state, Section 5 should be completed. So if they say, oh, I just moved from North Carolina, I haven't gotten around to getting my new voter registration, please have them check the box yes, and then fill in the two initial state of prior registration. That allows the registrars to notify their prior state that they are now enrolling as a voter in Virginia on our poll books, and they will be taken off in North Carolina, perhaps. But we are required to ask people to please complete that form. And if they want to work at the polls, it's great education, a great way to stop people from spouting misinformation about election security is to say, you know what? The best way to find out about how secure our elections are is to be a poll worker. So that's always a good option. And we have promised the registrar we would promote that whenever possible. This is also important, which is why it's highlighted. They must sign the form themselves. Only if they cannot actually physically sign the form, then they check this box here and you can fill out the form for them if they are unable to physically sign the form, and then the date. Now there's this nice little receipt down here with little scissors indicating where you can rip or cut it off. Please don't do that, because we are going to give you a very nice voter registration receipt. And this fulfills all the legal obligations of the organization, which is that we have to provide a written receipt, including the name of the organization that has accepted the voter registration form, and the date on which they submitted it. So all you got to do is fill in the date. It's going to be the same, 9/17/2024. This has also got all kinds of other useful information, including registrars at other area jurisdictions. Most people you're going to be dealing with are Fairfax County in the Fairfax County jurisdiction. And we also got some useful information on the back for if they want to double check about their registration. And Vote 411 is the Legal Women Voters national data resource for all things related to elections. Now, so you spent your several hours at the library, gotten to make a new friend, your buddy at the voter registration desk. You gotten to talk to a lot of very appreciative Fairfax County residents, and I promise you, people really will be appreciative for the information that you provide them. What are we going to do? You are going to take these two pieces of material that are in your bag, and it's going to be the two biggest piles. One is your what's on the ballot. We stock that at every single Fairfax County Public Library. You can make our job a lot easier by giving them to the librarian. They will put them out on display. Same thing with Fairfax Facts, okay? That little pamphlet. You please give them to the librarian. Ask them to put them out on their display. One thing, as I'm going by, I realized that I had meant to mention it earlier, and I'm going to, let me just finish with this part. And then I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about some information I want you to be personally aware of at your location. So put a pin in that. I'm going to go back to it if I can remember. Okay. So you've given away your flyers, the what's on the ballot and the Fairfax Facts, and you've gotten 1 or 2 or 3 maybe voter registration forms. Maybe got none. It's no big deal. Again, that's only a part of the exercise. Many other important things that you are doing. You are broadcasting what the league does. You are encouraging people to become members of the league. You are giving people valuable voting information. So don't be disappointed. You have done a big service to the people that you've spoken to. But if you do get people who have submitted voter registration forms, you are to organize them alphabetically and then fill in this sheet. It will be in your bag. Okay. National Voter Registration Day is the name of the event. You can put in the library. You put in your name, your email, and your phone number. One of the 2 partners can do that. And then you're going to list the names alphabetically by last name. And then if you're going to submit these forms to the registrar's office yourself, which you are welcome to do, you got to schlep all the way out to Fairfax County Government Center. For many of us, like I'm down in the Mount Vernon area, it's not exactly next door, but I'm going there all the time anyway. But if you want to bring them yourself, you are going to get a great sense of civic pride by walking in there with your completed voter registration forms. No matter what, I need to know what the names are of the people that we are registering under our banner of Legal Women Voters, because we have to track that, okay? I don't want to see a copy of their voter registration form. And every single year, someone takes a picture of a completed voter registration form, which includes all kinds of sensitive information, their date of birth, their social security number, their address. You can do a lot of damage with that. Those should not be being transmitted electronically. All I want is the names, the list of names, not the voter registration forms. If you want to submit them yourself, that's fine. You got to get them to the register within 10 days, and you're going to let me know that that gets done. An easier alternative for most of you, I'm guessing, I'm going to spend 2 chunks of time here in the office where I will be doing probably several other things, but not least I will be collecting voter registration forms. So make it easy on yourself. If one of you can get it to the office September 18th between 11:30 and 12:30, or on the 20th between 10:30 and 1:30, I will be sitting here specifically to collect the forms, save you having to schlep all the way out to the registrar's office. Again, for some of you, you may want to do that, might be easier for you. It's up to you. One way or the other, they got to get to the registrars. They got to get there within 10 days. And I need the names of the people that we are registering under the banner of the League of Women Voters. So,
Irina, could you please repeat the times? It was September 18th. What was the time? I'm sorry. Didn't get that.
You're going to have an instruction letter in your bag, right, Amy? That's where we put the instruction letter, right? So it'll be in your bag. All this information is going to be in there. And we'll probably send you another email as a reminder, like on the day of or the day after, saying, hey, today's a great day to go and drop off your voter registration forms on the 18th. So that would be a Friday from 10:30 to 12:30, or on the 20th. I guess that's, what day of the week is that?
The 18th is actually 11:30 to 12:30.
18th is 11:30 to 12:30. Yeah.
Right.
And
I'm all confused about days of the week here. Oh, and the 20th. For some reason, I keep wanting to make National Voter Registration Day on a Thursday. It's not. It's next Tuesday. So I'll be here Wednesday, 11:30 to 12:30, or Friday, the 20th, 10:30 to 1:30. Okay, so there are 2 good broad spans of time where I will be collecting voter registration forms. Find me at one of those and save yourself a trip out to the government center. Okie dokie. Okay, so this is you. You get a glass of wine, you get to put your feet up, you get to feel that you are the best person in the world because you got someone registered to vote, or you spread the good word about the League of Women Voters. So I am going to stop share for one moment. And something I had meant to mention to you earlier, but I'm going to do it now. This is that lovely What's on Your Ballot. Cindy Kalkorff, who is one of our board members, spent hours and lots of blood and tears to get this put together. It's got every single piece of practical information anyone could need in order to be able to vote this year. Who the candidates are, what the bond referenda, there are 2 this year in Fairfax County. Spend a little time yourself getting familiar with this so you know ahead of time, and you're going to look really smart to all your friends. But this is super important, okay? On the back is a listing of all the early voting sites. Early voting in Virginia starts next week, September 20th, okay? That Friday, when I should be doing my early voting, I'm gonna be sitting here collecting your voter registration forms, and when you're done handing it off to me, then you can go and vote yourself at an early voting site. What's nice to know, from September 20th until October 17th, there will be 3 early voting sites in the county. Fairfax County Government Center, not convenient for most people. North County Government Center up in the McLean area. And is that right? No, Reston. That's up in Reston, I think. And then Mount Vernon Government Center down in the Mount Vernon area, conveniently enough. Yeah, North County is in Reston. On October 17th, 13 additional sites will be open, and they will be open almost continually, including 2 Saturdays and 1 Sunday from October 17th until November 2nd. Please point out to people where they're closest to your library, where their closest early voting site is. A lot of people don't realize how convenient early voting is in Fairfax County. The other thing I tell people is it's a good idea to vote early because you never know what the weather's going to be like on November 2nd, 5th. You never know, what your personal health situation is going to be like. You could get the flu or the cold or twist your ankle or something that's going to keep you from going to vote. Early voting is an excellent idea. Fairfax County makes it super easy Hours are very extensive. They're actually very convenient because at every place except Fairfax County Government Center, that runs, your usual 8:30 to 4:30 or so in the afternoon. But the rest of them are open 1 in the afternoon till 7. So people can do it, on their way home from work. Recommend that people consider doing early voting. Be an advocate for that because it really is a great idea. One other thing I wanted to mention very quickly, good things for you to know. This is all on this nice handy dandy one piece of information. These are going to be hugely popular. We print off more every year, and every year they're all gone. Voter registration period ends October 15th. That's for run of the mill. You want to be registered before you go in and vote. Everybody needs to be registered. However, for the last 2 years in Virginia, we have something called same day voter registration. That's great. If, you get somebody who just was out of town, managed to forget, something happened, they didn't get registered in time, you can register the day you vote at any early voting site on election day, only at the polls in your precinct where you live. So people got to figure that out. But early voting, you can go to any early voting site in Fairfax County and do registration on the day you go and vote, and you can vote. However, we don't push that. It's good for you to know because you are now going to be, helping do voter registration so you can give reliable, accurate information to the people you speak to. We do not recommend waiting until after October 15th to register to vote because it slows down the lines for the people who come after you. It also means that you're casting what's called a provisional ballot, which means they're only going to count it after they've verified that your registration is legitimate. It's better than nothing, but it ain't the first option. So if somebody says, well, can I register after October 15th? The answer is yes, they can. We just don't recommend it unless there are no other options. I did want to mention one more time again, this Sunday, be there, will be wild. Oh no, I don't want to use that. Come to our Get Out the Vote rally. It is our chance to have a little, social interaction, get to meet some of your fellow league members. We're going to have all kinds of fun things for people to pick up and to use to be a voting advocate. One of them is these really cool little armbands that say I will vote, or like the one I'm wearing that says vote. These are very popular with young people, so you can definitely pick up a few to share with the grandkids or the kids. We will have really cool buttons, things like this that say vote. We will have some really cool little stickers that say things like I am a woman, watch me vote. So come, and we're going to have some goodies to eat and a chance to meet some of the leadership. And we strongly recommend you come to the Get Out the Vote rally. And Amy and I will both be there. I think, are you going to be there, Amy? I know I am. To answer any questions that you might have, either about this event or any of our future voter registration events. And with that, I'm going to give the rest of my time back to Amy, and she can fill in whatever.
Thank you. So I just had two things I wanted to mention in the bags that you're going to pick up. We also have included 2 of those vote wristbands that Arena just showed you, as well as a purple vote pin. And those are for you and your partner. Those are just gifts from us as a thank you for volunteering. So those are in your bag. Also, just wanted to remind folks, the bags are in the office. There is a checkout sheet there. You can go in, take your bag, and check it out. And I will also be there this Saturday from 10 to 3 to answer any questions people have about their bags, or anything that maybe popped up in the training that you just want to ask questions about to make sure something you're not sure about. So hope to see you all there or at the Get Out the Vote rally. And thank you for your time this evening. Arena, any final thoughts?
Well, yeah, I'm just looking at the questions in the chat. And there are some good ones. So if I'm going to just kind of go through them, I did put in the time for the Sunday Get Out the Vote rally. It's from 2 to 4 in our beautiful downtown Annandale League office. And I put the address in there. Moving up back up to the beginning of the chat, Karen Mitchell asked if someone has moved, do they need to complete a form? Yes. Anytime you have moved, you have to update your voter registration. Now, if they're already registered in Virginia and they have a Virginia driver's license, emphasis on the and, they can do that online quite easily using that QR code that we showed you that is on all our printed materials. They can go to that site. Encourage them to do it while they're standing there with you. Don't, people say, I'll do it later. Yeah, you mean to do it later, but you get home and the kids, eat dinner, and then you throw in a load of laundry, and you have your glass of wine, and before you know it, you've forgotten it, and the next day is completely gone. So I always tell people, look, why don't you just stand here right this moment and do it, get it out of the way, and that way you're going to be all set to go. Changing your voter registration information at the online portal does require that you have a Virginia issued ID, either a driver's license or a non-driver's license. One of the, it's issued by the DMV, and it's an ID that people can use. So yes, you have to update your address every time you move. Jean asked, Jean answered the same question. Thank you. Both Jean and I know Beth, and there are probably a couple of other people on here who are actually election officials. They're work for the elections officers or election officers. So they know even more than I do about that. And you were right. I had the days confused because we got a lot going on between now and then, but it is Tuesday, the 17th. Sorry, I don't know why I had it in my head. It was Thursday. Beth has put in how to find your precinct, fairfaxcounty.gov/my neighborhood. So that's a good one too. And they can also Google it. Sally and France asked, okay to pick up your bags on the 15th. Yes, as Amy said, she's going to be here Saturday, and all of us will be here on Sunday from 2 to 4 to, you can pick up your bags then. It's a great time to do it. And then you can also have some fun while you're doing it. Let's see. Okay. Question from Betsy: for college students living away, should they apply for a mail ballot? Yes. College students, it's really unfortunate because these are the voters that obviously they have the least experience. For many of them, they're first time voters, but it's also the most decision making about voting. For those of us who have been, at one address for most of our lives and we're going to stay there, it's really easy. You register, you vote, it's all set. College voters can choose to vote either at their college campus address, at least in Virginia they can. Every state is allowed to make its own rules and laws regarding details of voting within federal guidelines, but this is one of those. In Virginia, students are allowed to use their college address as their address of record to vote there. So students may decide, like at GMU, a lot of the students who are living on campus, we are getting them to register to vote on campus because they actually have a polling site right on the campus. What could be easier? But they can also continue to use their parents' address as their permanent address and then vote at that address. If it's in the state of Virginia, and because we have a 45-day early voting period throughout the state, every jurisdiction in Virginia will start early voting on September 20th. So they got 45 days to get home and vote early at a location there, or they're going to have to ask for an absentee ballot. We did not put absentee ballot applications in your bags. Again, it's unlikely to come up. However, the libraries will have them. So should that occur, you can tell somebody, yeah, you can pick up an absentee ballot application in the library. They can also, if they have a driver's license, they can apply for their absentee ballot online if they have a Virginia driver's license. So it's a little complicated. And these are the kinds of questions that if they come up, you feel free to text or call Amy. She'll be in a library, so maybe she can't really talk really loud. And if that fails, you can always try texting me. I'll be at GMU, but definitely we'll try to answer your questions. But again, these are relative. The other thing is that the Department of Elections, the state of Virginia, has a very extensive list of frequently asked questions with specific subsets for college voters, for military voters, for overseas voters, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So where you can refer people to that, vote411.org. Vote411.org is the League of Women Voters all-purpose election information website. What people do is they put in their address, and it generally will link them directly to the Department of Elections in the state of Virginia. So those are two resources to have in mind. Okay, any other questions?
There's a question I see about how, from Karen Huberger, how do we know who our partner is and whether they've already picked up the bag? So, gosh, I think it's been a week ago now. I sent out an initial email that included all of the partners. It listed all of the partners and included the email addresses, along with a request for you all to deconflict who is going to pick up the bag, and to let me know who is going to do that. I can send you your partner's information, Karen, when we get off of this call, so you can reach out to them. You're at the city of Fairfax, and no one has picked up the bag yet.
Okay. Thank you, Amy.
Sure.
Irina and Samabet.
Yes.
Just two things for me. I'm going to be posting this recording and hopefully within the next 24 hours, definitely within the next 24 hours, but I'm trying to do it within the hour. So just go to the League of Women Voters Fairfax voter registration training. It'll be listed there. And then if you do need additional resources of where and how to vote and all that stuff and how to register, we've got League of Women Voters Fairfax voter resources also for your own knowledge. Thank you.
And then Sally Ann France just asked what kind of publicity. Well, this is always a struggle. There will be some national publicity about National Voter Registration Day, but it's really hard to get a lot of the media to come and do specific events for a jurisdiction that's as diffuse, if you will, as Fairfax County. We will, however, be blasting it on social media. We have a pretty active social media team. And, you know, yes, I know mostly young people are on social media, but we will be doing it. Feel free to mention it if you are on your own social media accounts. You can link to ours and blast it on that. You can mention it on Nextdoor. I'm very skeptical or a little concerned about Nextdoor because there seem to be a lot of trolls on that site. But feel free to mention it widely. We've had a couple of neighborhood associations that are mentioning it and encouraging people to come out. Anyone else?
Don't forget to take pictures and send them in for email.
Oh, that's a very good point, Emma Beth. Thank you. Yeah, because that way your pictures will show up in our next newsletter. And I'm assuming everybody is on our newsletter list. If you're not, a newsletter is a great way to find out what events we're doing, to get to see the fun pics from the most recent voter registration event, to keep up to date with all the news that's fit to print in about the league and our activities. And you can do that lwv-fairfax.org. That's our homepage. And Emma, if you want to throw that in the chat, lwv-fairfax-fairfax.org. And then on the homepage, there is a place to just scroll down and you can see sign up for our newsletter. And that's a great
bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for taking time out of your evenings. Thank you again, Amy, for being, you know, the mover shaker that's getting this done, and Emma for her ever invaluable help, and to all of you for volunteering. This has been a really fun event for us in the past, and it does give us a lot of visibility and credibility in the community. The entire library board is aware of this, and we are trying to get the word out to the Board of Supervisors as well. So you may find a library board member kind of walking into the library just to check to see what's going out, chat them up. Please invite people to take pictures, try to give out as much of our material as you can, and try to have a lot of fun. It should be.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.